A forlorn hope is a band of soldiers or other combatants chosen to take the leading part in a military operation, such as an assault on a defended position, where the risk of casualties is high. Such a band is also known as the enfants perdus. Etymology: the term comes from the Dutch verloren hoop, literally lost troop. The Dutch word hoop usually means hope, but is in this context cognate to the English word heap. The term was used in military contexts to denote a troop formation. The Dutch word hoop is not cognate with English hope. This is an example of false folk etymology. The mistranslation of verloren hoop as forlorn hope builds a quaint misunderstanding, using the nearest sounding English words. This false etymology is further entrenched by the fact that in Dutch the word hoop is a homograph meaning hope as well as heap, though the two senses have different etymologies. While the word hoop has many equivalents in English, including pile and accumulation, perhaps the nearest English translation that most accurately captures the sentiment, at least in military affairs, bullsh, lost bunch, or lost crowd, given the slender expectations of those given such a high-risk assignment. History: in the German mercenary armies of the Landsknechts, these troops were called the Verloren Haufen, which has the same meaning as the Dutch term, the word Haufen itself being a general term for a loosely organized group of men. The men of the Verloren Haufen carried long double-handed swords, with which they had to hew the way through the massive pike formations opposing them. They also had to withstand the first wave of attacks when defending a breastwork. Members of the Verloren Haufen earned double pay, thus giving them the name of Doppelsöldner. But since there were not enough volunteers to serve in the Verloren Haufen, criminals that had been sentenced to death were taken into the ranks as well. As a field sign, the Verloren Haufen carried a red Luftfahne. By extension, the term forlorn hope became used for any body of troops placed in a hazardous position, e.g., an exposed outpost, or the defenders of an outwork in advance of the main defensive position. This usage was especially common in accounts of the English Civil War, as well as in the British Army in the Peninsular War of 1808 to 1814, and in the days of muzzle-loading muskets. The term was most frequently used to refer to the first wave of soldiers attacking a breach in defenses during a siege. While it was likely that most members of the Forlorn Hope would be killed or wounded, the intention was that some would survive long enough to seize a foothold that could be reinforced, or at least that a second wave with better prospects could be sent in while the defenders were reloading or engaged in mopping up the remnants of the first wave. That said, such soldiers were rarely suicidal or foolhardy. British troops of the Forlorn Hope at the 1812 siege of Badajoz carried a large by 2 feet in diameter bag stuffed with hay or straw, which was thrown down into the enemy trenches to create a cushion and prevent injury as they jumped down. A Forlorn Hope may have been composed of volunteers and were frequently led by ambitious junior officers with hopes of personal advancement. If the volunteers survived and performed courageously, they would be expected to benefit in the form of promotions, cash gifts and adding glory to the name, while the commanding officer himself was virtually guaranteed both a promotion and a long-term boost to his career prospects. In consequence, despite the grave risks involved for all concerned, there was often serious competition for the opportunity to lead such an assault and to display conspicuous valor.